There is a pattern that appears almost consistently across scaling businesses and growing creator platforms. Now, the external indicators suggest that oftentimes you find that things are working. So, internally, the structure required to sustain that growth is sometimes often not in place. So, what is required to sustain the growth is not in place. Now, especially for founders, I find that revenue targets are being met. So, client base is expanding. However, the necessary resources are not in place to sustain that business. So, I find that the internal architecture required to sustain that growth is not established to keep pace or to be sustainable. Now, decisions stall without the founder's direct input most times. Execution loses consistency without their oversight. The gap between where the business stands and how it is actually run concentrates most often on one individual. Sometimes this results in lost time, diminished clarity, and overall, there is a cognitive overload that may be present, especially among leadership, and then, of course, it affects administration or operations. Now, this is not a personal failure at times, it is often a structural one. You find that the business has scaled, but the decision infrastructure that is operating is not structured to meet the growth to which has taken place in the business. Now, for creators, I find that there are often speakers, authors, podcast hosts, content creators who have genuinely established an audience and they have their platform with established reach. Their content is working. What I find can be improved is the commercial infrastructure to convert that reach into multiple sustainable income streams. Sponsorships, brand partnerships, licensing, digital products, and speaking engagements are often all within the reach for a creator whose platform is properly positioned. Now, without that structural foundation, those opportunities either they may not reach the individuals, or when they reach those individuals, they do not often convert. Now, at IBIZ Consultancy Services, these are some of the problems that we are built to resolve or established to resolve. We work remotely with founders and creators across the globe, and we pull from experience that is garnered through associations with various industries and markets. For founders, we work inside your organization to build the operational architecture that your current state of growth demands. So we help you document decision logic, reduce founder dependency, and often implement execution systems that will help to establish performance without requiring constant oversight from top or from leadership. And we help to make your outcomes specific and measurable, oftentimes in alignment with SMART goals. Fewer open decisions consume cognitive resources, so your mental overload. So that time can be allotted to something else when you have the established structures in place. Faster, cleaner decision cycles help an organization to function effectively and sustainably. Now, for creators, especially at IBIZ Consultancy Services, we have developed the Arise Growth Lab. That's a 9-step system that takes a creator from an unstructured platform to a commercially positioned brand. So each participant leaves with a defined audience persona, a professional media kit, scored and refined pitches, and outreach materials ready for deployment across multiple revenue channels and growth strategies. The creators that we work with do not build or do not establish just a single source of income. They establish the infrastructure that makes every channel viable. So across their various social media or website viable. Founders and creators are not always separate audiences. They are often the same professional at different stages of the same journey. They're often establishing something that matters. And while what they have in common is that sometimes there are often similar structural gaps. And I find that most often, every operator, whether you're a creator or business owner, sometimes face this. However, at IBIZ Consultancy, we have free diagnostic gaps. So you can, when you look on the website, you will see free diagnostic gap assessments which you are able to take and then proceed from there. Takes only a few minutes. It is specific to your situation and it will show you precisely where your structure is breaking down and what that gap may cost you. Select your path. Founders start here. Creators start here. Looking forward to talking with you.